to Conversations and Opinions. I'm Clorissa.
I'm Tarvis.
I'm Caronica.
And I'm Shae. We're bringing a topic to you about how does American society make black women feel?
Wow.
Does it make it harder for us to love ourselves?
Well, in my humblest opinion, that would only mean if you have low self-esteem. Because I don't care who I'm around, whether you're a movie star or not, you may have a better body than me, a prettier face. I think I'm the baddest thing this side of heaven. So what society thinks, I could care less, to be totally honest with you. Because I know my self-worth. Period. Point blank.
Okay.
I just feel like that, growing up as kids and, we going through the teenage years, high school and stuff like that. And I feel like society can make it harder for black women to love themselves because the images we put out there, and when it comes to our hair, when it comes to complexions, when it comes to weight, body shaming. So I feel that it definitely plays a role in how we feel about ourselves. So you do sometimes get, not everybody, because there's some adults that struggle, but you do get to a point sometimes where, depending on who's feeding the information, feeding things into you, where you do love yourself and you do overcome those things. But as a whole, yes. I think it does, and it comes down to like are black women protected?
Right.
That's a whole nother topic. But before I piggyback on something you said, Clorissa and Shae, what are your opinions?
I really believe that society plays a big part in why black women, our community, suffer from a lot of what I consider to be crabbing. Like you have crabbing.
What does that mean?
When black people come together,
Crabs in a barrel?
Crabs in a barrel.
Okay.
So when black people come together, and instead of me congratulating you and trying to help each other, pull each other up, we're always trying to bring people down. And so I think the way our community is completely have been, what's the word I want to use? We have been let down from not just the slave master and how we end up having to deal with all the situations of what it was like to have our fathers stay outside while the slave master was raping the mother or the child. Then you got to go from there, and then you go to when our communities were put in a position where if your husband or your father of your child was in the household, they would tell you that you can't have assistance, and you would have to have the man to be out of the household in order to have any type of help through the government. They would break up our families. They would break up different things that kind of like when we trying to build ourselves up or trying to get help to build ourselves up, you always have someone trying to, or the community or society trying to put you in a position of being separate or looking at yourself in a way that I'm not worthy.
Okay.
I definitely think that society, it plays a huge part in how black women view themselves, how we treat ourselves, and what we receive. So when you came out the gate saying low self-esteem, that ruffled my feathers right off the bat. Because it's like, listening to everything she just said, there is no way that self-esteem is the only way you got to the place of not being able to love on yourself. So, I mean, you and everybody get their chance to have their opinion, but, and you said something that I know is going to lead into another topic, but you piggybacked on how are black women protected. So yeah, I do believe that society plays a huge role in how we see ourselves, how we treat ourselves, our girls, how they're coming up, our sons, how they are treating us as we get older and so on. So yes, society has, and not just white society as a whole. Yes.
I'm going to say I believe that also starts in your home. Your upbringing. What were you taught about yourself? So, society playing a role, to me, it's poquito.
Okay.
Because after reading, growing up, we had RIF. Reading is fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
When you read, you do research, and you understand. At the end of the day, is what we're reading actually true? When you find out the truth about who we are kings, we are queens, because we came from our motherland over here. Not that we wanted to, we were stolen.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm not going to allow what you think I should be to change who I know I am.
That's true, but like you said, the low self-esteem thing in the beginning, you learned that at home, right?
Yes.
Your self-esteem. So what if everybody's house wasn't structured the way yours was?
Correct.
There are a lot of broken homes, not just the dad is gone, but some broken children who didn't have either of the parents. So
Correct.
I know we're on the subject of black women, so I'm going to try to make sure my opinions
Yeah.
pertain to that.
Yes.
But we got another subject.
Right,
Exactly. Because,
our experiences are totally different.
Yeah.
And I feel like that I get what you mean, and the confidence is great when you can get to that point.
Later down the line,
Yeah, but I think that I'm just being honest. Growing up, it's hard. Like when you're a young woman and black woman, you go through those things, and you look for it's compared. If you haven't been compared, then you're blessed.
There's shots fired from everybody.
You're compared. Like I said, it's an overall thing. It's body shaming, comparing yourself. Society's comparing. You're supposed to look like your friend that's sitting right over there, or your friend's supposed to be like. It could be skin. It could be everything. Like I said, the hair is a big one. Like my hair is not like your hair, and my hair, and so you go through those struggles, and yes. It's great if you have somebody that's lifting you up, but even sometimes when you have somebody lifting you up in your corner, if you don't feel it inside, it doesn't matter what anyone else says.
Right.
So those to me are things that you have to go through. But as far as society putting that on us, yes, society puts that on us. Because when we look around at things, like they're comparing, like, oh, if you're not right if you don't look like Beyonce, if you're not, so it's. How people get certain jobs is based off of just those things.
There's the hair discrimination right there.
Because that's been written into law now, right?
Now.
They can't discriminate, and that took how many years?
But that's still, that is written in law. But
right.
Always
that don't even mean nothing.
What I will rectify when I said my upbringing, I wore glasses, I was buck-toothed, and I'm still that. So I got bullied about that, and I had to learn quickly that just because that's what you say about me doesn't mean that is who I am.
And those are that leads us to know that there are teaching opportunities to get everybody to that place. Because some people, just look at it. If you have a little brown-skinned little girl who's 4, 5 right now, and you hear famous rappers saying no dark meat, right off the bat, you realize you're not even pretty. And we have seen the videos
from your own
community.
Right.
The little girl who was getting her hair twisted, and she said, "I'm ugly. Look at me, I'm ugly." And her hairdresser had to stop and really grab her and say, "You are beautiful." Yes. The little girl was 3 or 4 years old. So it's not just a self-esteem thing when we're older, because we get it now.
Oh yeah.
But when you're a baby,
and recently, I won't say her name because I don't have her permission right now, but we have a family member whose daughter just went through bullying, and because of just and it's about another girl who looks like her, and so you have these people who they forever, and this person might have low self-esteem. We don't even know the circumstances behind the other person.
Most likely they do.
But it's because of what society, like you said, we are compared to each other. So we fight against each other for things like that. So it's a teaching opportunity because people are killing themselves over these things.
They literally are.
That's
so
crazy.
rad.
You wanted to say something before I make a point?
I wanted to say that I just feel like it starts so far back in our history that like we allowed a society of people to put just completely get into our minds and make us believe that
Willie
we're
Lynch letters.
That we're less than, that women are only used for sex and pleasure, and it's
Willie Lynch letters.
mainly
Go
the
ahead.
black women.
Yes.
We were basically used as like staples of what a black woman's body looks like. Yeah. They would have us stand up there butt naked and show different pictures and different types of women who have big butts and hips and stuff like that. And they actually did scientist type tests on us and all types of stuff. And to have all of that happen, and then years and years and years later, we have songs that talk about how black women are, how you spoke of, like talking about little girls and black the skin being dark and this and that. And then within our own community,
we're angry people.
Yeah, we're angry people.
So either we don't have a voice or we're too angry. Like, I'm so sick of hearing the black women.
Either you don't speak up or you speak up too much. Yes. Or you, like, even in our own communities, when you speak of your growing up, because I grew up, my mother was one of those people, in fact, I was like, I wanted to feel a little lower because my mama was like, no, you are this and you are that. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, dang, she made me feel, I want to be humble because I don't want to be, she made me feel, I was feeling bad. But how you spoke of, you got to think about it. A little girl who might have stood next to you, light-skinned girl with long hair, and she's dark-skinned, her hair is up to here, and she stands next to you, and you're not going to get the same ridicule that she's getting.
Girl, I got it with my mom too. No. I get what you're saying, and that's what my point was going to be. What I don't like is because, and it's funny when I say this, is you know how you have a much darker pigment young lady? I don't like when, she's cute to be so dark.
I was just about to say that.
And what's so amazing to me is when I go on vacation right now, I be trying to get that color.
That chocolate.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I don't like that. I'm like, when are we just going to say we're human beings?
It's so stupid. Y'all have a cousin, I have a niece who super popular Instagram page found a picture of her on her site, on her Instagram, and they republished it. And the caption was, so pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I was so mad. She sent me the screenshot and she was like, why? And she put up under there, no, I'm pretty, period. And I'm glad that she stood up for herself, but like, people creating these pages thinking it's a compliment to say that.
Right. Or
they're saying stuff like that, you pretty for this or that, or...
they'll say it real quick, you pretty for a big girl.
Oh.
Girl.
That must have hit a chord. That hit a chord.
It's these labels that people put you in. And it's like... I didn't grow up in a household that we talked about complexion. I didn't really even know what complexion I was.
Y'all have 4 complexions in the house.
Yes.
Mama brown skin, y'all got more yellow in your system.
But we didn't grow up, she didn't talk about that. So it was like, okay, we black.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we are.
Period.
So when you go on the outside and they be like, oh yeah, that yellow bone and she all that, I'm like,
red bone.
Who is that? Red bone.
Wow, what you talking about?
Or people are talking about certain things. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Like black people label each other like that, and then moving from a different. Because we moved from Chicago to Maryland, you see a whole nother type of things because now it's more mixture than where we grew up in the beginning. But it's crazy how it is black people that do that. I don't hear the other people saying,
"Yeah, we do it to ourselves."
You little light skinned girl, or hey, you little brown skinned girl.
We do it to ourselves.
Yeah, so it's like it's crazy.
And I'm gonna be real vulnerable. In high school, I'll never forget. Because I went to an all-girls school. So one of my good friends, her name was Felicia Kershaw. When I tell you she was pure milk chocolate, I don't know if I was jealous or envious, but I was like, dang, why ain't my skin color like that? I went home and was like, can I go stand out in the sun or something? Because I just think the vast variety of complexions is a beautiful depiction of a rainbow of society. Whether you're Asian, Latino, Puerto Rican, white, black, whatever. And again, when are we just going to be human beings?
So since the subject is about how black women are under fire or how we are, I forget the whole title, what do you feel like are the things that contribute to that?
I think so many things contribute to it. I think the way we communicate through our music. Mm-hmm. I believe the way we communicate when it comes to raising our children. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing because people don't realize they actually put that in their kids. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. People don't realize. I've heard so many stories about children in the household with different complexions, and certain kids were treated differently or treated so badly because of their skin being darker than their sibling. Wow. So I've heard, even my mom, I've heard stories even when it came to her. Mm-hmm. Like, I've heard so many stories about different people when it came to family. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, that's a big thing. Yeah. That's a huge thing. It starts. Now, we can't even go back in time when slavery bumped that. But what about what's going on right now in our families?
I disagree. Yeah. That's why you kept hearing me say Willie Lynch letters. That was the whole thing to divide us. The house nigga and the field nigga. The house nigga was the light skin. The field nigga was the dark skin. And it goes back to what you said, that crab mentality. And it saddens me because I feel like, yes, I'm about to say this, we are the most powerful race on the planet. Yeah. So they had to figure out how to dumb us down. And if you have never read it, Google Willie Lynch letters. And I often go back and read it because I'm like, in society, that's what we're still dealing with.
I agree. I agree with you. We're still dealing with a lot of past things, but people focus so much on the past to where they don't focus on what's going on. They so focused. I know so many people who focus on the past, and they can tell you so much educational information about the past, but they do nothing for the future. They do nothing for
evolved. So the thing is, Black women are under fire, not just from the one thing like the Willie Lynch letters, but it has evolved to now our own people.
Social media.
Social media is taking shots at us. Corporate America, like you said, the hair law just passed though. So who are advocates for Black women? Who do you think are advocates for Black women?
Do we have any?
Do we have advocates? Because sometimes we're not even advocates to ourselves.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's a hard one because we are. You have some people like that are now trying to build togetherness between Black women, right? But I think we just have a lot of work because we're so.
Oh my God, yes.
It's a lot of work because we're so separate, like just as women, period.
Yeah.
But then when you put just the label of just a Black woman, it's a totally different topic. I think it's just knowing, you know better, you do better. Yeah. Yes. So if you are aware that these are things that you have to be honest with yourself that you're doing, then you start having conversation with your kids. Like, you don't separate them. Stop going around the house talking about yellow girl or you know what I mean. To me, that's just so, like, building them up based off complexion, because you build your kids up, let them know they're smart,
or you have a false sense of security. If you were treated well as the light-skinned kid in the house and you get out into reality, the other side of the world don't care, you just still Black to them. So where you may have been a royal treasure in your house because you were light-skinned, you get out here in the real world and all that pumping up you got gets shot right on down when you get into the real world.
So you just like teach your kids their self-worth. Like their self-worth, and your self-worth is not because you're light skin or you're brown skin or you
got long hair.
That's not it.
So that goes back to conversations. Continue to have conversations.
And we just gotta do better,
so much better, because I think I see when we have right now we have our young men, and I'm looking at, and it's saddening to me. I look at the relationships that young men have with these young girls. I work in a college. I've worked in different like facets of education, and I'll be looking at some of the relationships between these people, and I'm thinking like, wow, we really don't love one another the way we should, and it's really sad, and it's kind of scary,
right?
Because if we don't get it together, we won't even have a community.
So what do we do to get it together then?
How
do we establish a community?
That's the question.
For one, we need to actually get counseling.
As an individual?
As an individual, as a community, or whatever it is. We need to actually have conversations and talk about different aspects of how we can build ourselves up.
Because Black women, we are the ally to everybody too. Mm-hmm. You just think about it. You as a man, everybody knows that the Black woman is like literally the what do they call us? Not the core of the family, but the glue.
Yes.
Yes.
Most of the time, it's the mama, it's the grandma, and the men are extremely important, but everybody leans back on grandma or mama.
Yes.
So
we're superwoman.
We're the ally to the family.
Yeah,
we're the ally to other women, because when other races think of a strong woman, typically they use us as the example for what a strong woman looks like. So we're the ally to everybody, but we're also the most abused by everybody.
Absolutely.
So we just have to, as a community, first of all,
and abuse when you're saying that, then you have to realize why some people kind of give a perception of angry. Because if I am constantly, what happens if you abuse someone continuously?
Yeah.
What happens to them?
Lash out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll lash out. They can become bitter. It's so many different things that can happen.
Angry Black woman.
Like you can't. People want to believe that being a Black woman or being a woman or being Black, you have to always be a strong person, and you can't.
Yeah.
You have to. You constantly have to
show vulnerability.
We can't show vulnerability. We can't show that we're too happy. We can't show that we're too sad. We can't show too angry. You can't.
We just have a whole list of stipulations.
So we have to kind of like. So what do you do if you're being boxed up like that?
You fight.
What do you
come
do?
out swinging.
Yeah.
When you backed in the corner, you coming out swinging.
Because as soon as somebody come up to you the wrong way, what happens?
I'm going to say this without a bunch of scientific backing, so I'm just going to put this out here. But to heal the world, we need to heal Black women.
Yes.
Period. I believe
I agree.
that. And we can dig into how that happens later. But when Black women are strong, the world is strong. Women rule the world. Period.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like if we could just start small with little groups like this,
More conversations. Like on the red table.
Mm-hmm.
Like the red table when they had Gabrielle Union
Oh
and
my gosh.
Jada. To me, that was a powerful one. It was honest conversation.
Yes.
And
And that's something we don't have.
Yeah.
It's an honest conversation for the fear of, I may hurt your feelings.
right. So you have those honest conversations, and you continue to have those, you can heal each other, because it's like a lot of times I don't have a problem with you.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with you, but because of what society puts they put us against each other.
Right.
Where you have like the Brandys and the Monicas, and they don't even know why they mad at each other.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have those conversations to say, okay, this is what it is. This is what it is. This is what I was feeling, and be okay with just like being vulnerable about things. So
Or not agreeing.
not agreeing.
Agree to disagree.
Right.
Yeah.
And remove the fear. It's okay that you don't agree
That's right.
with your sister.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's okay because what's the name of our show? Conversations and Opinions. So
Exactly.
you are allowed to have your opinion. I don't have to necessarily agree with it.
Right.
But if we're mature enough to say, okay, I agree to disagree
Right.
and move on. And what you said, honest conversations.
Right.
And I think people get so afraid because I don't want you to hurt my feelings.
Or they don't want to be portrayed a certain way. Like, 'cause if I tell you,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, like to me, Gabrielle was very open and honest. Like, oh yeah, I was like this. Basically, I was a hating.
Yeah. I didn't want you to win.
Angry, yes.
If you got it.
And now you see that those people now are rooting for each other.
Yeah.
Like when someone wins something, and that's what we have to do as the world
To
like,
heal.
We have to root for each other. When you see another
Right.
person doing something, you can't hate on them. You congratulate them.
Girl, I be congratulating everybody because I'm like, oh, that means my turn is right around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
because at the end of the day, what's for you is for you.
Yeah.
I can't stop what God has for you. So why wouldn't I say,
But how about
congrats?
this? I can learn from you.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I can learn from you. Clorissa does good in this, and I'm
Yes.
like, hey, let me call her up and see, pick her brain about
Right.
something. Or you know, we have so much knowledge. where
Yes.
we
Yes.
can do so much if we just stop trying to
compete
all the
all
time.
the time.
Yeah.
So
Lord,
as
have
this
mercy.
generation who is aware of this, it's our job, whether you have children or not, whether you have daughters or not, whether you have sons or not, to reach down and teach.
Right.
Because if I teach my son that all women are beautiful, he won't be objectifying.
Correct.
Because she light skinned,
Right.
because she dark skinned,
Right.
this and that. If we teach our daughters that self-esteem and beauty from the jump comes from within,
Yes.
you're not really caring about, because
Yes.
guess what? If somebody says blondes are beautiful, I do not feel sad.
Right.
I am not a blonde.
Right.
I don't
Right.
feel anything, because it's just, first of all, not even a possibility for me as a natural thing. So why would I be feeling sad? Because but I have that knowledge and information now. But if you grow up, who did the study where they showed the kids the dolls when they were
Yes.
I saw
yeah,
Yes,
you know what I'm
yes.
saying, and they
Yeah.
naturally associated the black dolls with bad and ugly,
Uh-huh.
but the white ones with cute and pretty, and they didn't want, nobody wanted the black dolls. And I'm like, even children. So how
Right.
early are we teaching this?
It's
So-
this society. We're letting society teach the kids.
Yeah.
And then they're learning this on their own instead of us saying, oh, no,
Yeah,
let me
that's
come
wrong.
in here and
Yep.
that's wrong. No, this doll is just as beautiful as this doll. And, but, so the TVs and the commercials is basically warping their minds.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're believing that, okay, well, the doll with the curly hair, the doll with the straight blonde hair, and like you said, that's not even possible for you, sweetie.
No.
So we
And
need
then
to
they
teach
do
them to
make
love
those
themselves.
dolls look a little weird. They
Yeah.
you know, intentionally.
Not a little weird.
No, for real. I remember growing up when we first started getting those little baby dolls that had color to them. I don't know if anybody else noticed. I was like, why?
Well, the dolls back when we were younger were like kind of like
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
But I would like to give kudos to the individuals who are out there trying to make a change and creating dolls for our kids that reference how they
color,
look.
yeah.
Yes, because that's been
Not-
a long time.
yeah.
Make them
Coming.
look like oogly moogly.
Yes,
or something.
yes. So I mean, because you see them with afros, you see them with
Right.
cornrows,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, whoever decided to do that, thank you. Even our children's books now
Oh,
have
yes.
a lot of black authors. Did I just spit on?
That's all right. You passionate.
right. Stories for our children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not the white pictures in the stories. It's
They can
people
see something that looks like
yes,
them.
Right.
yes, they
And
can
we
reference
don't.
that. I'm
White
sorry,
is
Paris,
not
that's
wrong. White is not wrong. That's not what
No
we're saying
race.
here.
right,
No.
right.
But that's, there you go.
Thank
No
you.
race is, all of these things are beautiful and equal, but we just
Right.
are taught something different.
Yes.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure we go on the record as saying
Yeah.
that all colors are beautiful, but
Yeah.
we
All
are
colors are
tired of our color
Yes.
Yes.
being the one that gets
It's more of a
ridiculed.
personal thing. It's not excluding any other people who go through their things within their
Because everyone,
communities.
we
because
know,
each community go through
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think just with us as being who we are, we have our own experiences and we go through so many different trials and tribulations growing up and being even an adult that you have to kind of like bring to light, and it's helpful to be able to show other people that you're not the only one that's thinking it.
yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, I
So-
think this one definitely needs a part two. So
Yes.
Exactly.
we'll end this one now. But I think
Yes.
that we didn't even really scratch the surface on
Absolutely
what the
not.
whole
Right.
title was and what you said.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's just put a pin in this.
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
We'll
We
be
are
back with this
grateful
one.
for everybody,
Yeah.
including themselves in this conversation, and drop some
Yes.
comments because we will come back to this subject
Yes.
because
Yeah.
this is one that I think could really help people, but also add to some healing for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Subscribe. I said subscribe. Thank you for subscribing.
Comment and like, please.
Yes, hit the notification. And again, thank you for joining us on Conversations and Opinions. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.